Oh, thank you, Patricia. So I'm sure people will continue to come on, but I think we'll start. Jai Ma, welcome to Ma Satsang. It's so beautiful to see you all. Thank you so much for being here. As most of you know, Acharya Mangalananda and Gloria are in India right now. And so today's satsang is coming to you from Amherst, Massachusetts, instead of California.
They're in India. Mangalananda's in India right now.
Okay, if everyone can mute, that would be great. And Patricia, do you know how to mute people? Yeah, great. So it's the miracle of Ma's Kayal that we get to meet once a month with people from not just around the country, but around the world. And already we have one person from Germany, one person from Portugal, and one person from the Big Island of Hawaii. And so we all meet in the name of Anandamayi Ma. And the word satsang, as we all know, means gathering in the truth. And Ma couldn't have emphasized attending satsang more. In every single talk she gave, she said the most important thing is to attend satsang, to be in the company of other people who are seeking God. And so that's why we come together. And we invoke Ma's presence through chanting and listening to stories of Ma, contemplating her words and teachings, and meditating together. Just a couple of technical things for today. You on your own can choose either gallery or speaker view, whichever works best for you. And as you know, you can change that in the course of our time together. We'll be meeting for 2 hours from 4 to 6, or whatever time zone you're in for 2 hours. And we ask you to stay muted for most of satsang, though there will be 2 times where we will call on you if you unmute. We'll call on you during the introductions, which are coming up very soon in a few minutes, and during our sharing time, which is toward the end of satsang. So just to give you an idea of the flow of today's satsang, we're going to begin with an opening mantra, and then we'll go into our introductions. And Patricia, who's our lovely co-host, you can see her waving over there, will be calling on you to introduce yourself. And then after introductions, we'll be singing a Kirtan, Vajamana Ma. And then we'll read from Ma's Leela, from Ma's life, and Ma's people's experiences with Ma. After that, we'll have another Kirtan, a beautiful new one that we haven't done before that I think you'll really love, called Om Anandamayi, which is written by a friend of ours. Then we'll be reading from Ma's own words from her satsangs. And after that, we'll have meditation. And it was Dr. Murad's inspiration that we have our meditation sort of more towards the middle of satsang. And I think that's worked out really well. So we'll be doing that. And after meditation, we'll have our sharing time, where we share our experiences of Ma, anything that's touched us in the readings, and so forth. And then we're going to have a special closing chant, because last night was a very auspicious night called Maha Shivaratri. That means the night of Shiva. And so I'll be singing a beautiful scripture about Shiva and about how we really are all Shiva. And then we'll have some announcements, and we'll end with our closing mantras. And I'm happy to say that our lovely Jaya Bandyopadhyaya, who is Ma's grand niece, will be here by the end of satsang, and she will sing the closing mantras. And nobody can sing the closing mantras like Jaya. I'm sure you remember her voice. She was trained in India by Ma's favorite singer. So she'll be here at the very end, and I'm very, very happy about that. So that's how things are going to go. Very exciting to be here together. And I'm going to now sing the opening mantra. Patricia will put it on the screen so you can sing along with me. I think it's important to look at the translation of this mantra. I bow to that Guru, Sri Sri Anandamayi Mata, who pervades the invisible form of the universe, who penetrates everything, be it mobile or immobile. She shows the goal, which is that. Akhanda mandala akaram, yaptam yena characharam, atmaram arshitam yena, tasmai Purave Namaha. Shri Shri Anandamayi Mata Ki Jai. Jesse, is the authentic sound on or off right now? It's off? Okay. We forgot to do that. But now it can be on. I mean, now it should be off. Because I'm not going to sing it. Okay, thank you. We have this crazy thing called original sound that makes the music sound better. And as you remember from Mangalanandaji, it's very hard to remember to turn it on and off before every song, but we're going to try to remember. So I'm going to begin by introducing myself. Some of you might be new to Satsang. My name is Prajna Hallstrom, and my husband Ted and I are now living in Amherst, Massachusetts. Before the pandemic, we lived in the Boston area, and we held Ma Satsang every month in person in our home, first in Boston and then out here. And then we discovered we could be on Zoom and see all of you from California and parts unknown. So we're very blessed to have had this opportunity to expand into Zoom. Just to say a little bit about my connection to Ma, although I never met Ma in person, I now see that she orchestrated my entire life. I was first introduced to Ma by reading Autobiography of a Yogi in 1970. And many of us started on our spiritual search with that book. And of course, Ma is one of the chapters in that book. 8 years later, while I was sitting in a marble courtyard in India with my guru, whose name was Swami Muktananda, Baba Muktananda abruptly stopped what he was doing. And he said, everyone who's sitting here, and there were probably 75 of us, everyone sitting here must immediately go and find Anandamayi Ma. She is God in a female body, and you must have her darshan. Now, I was there with my 2 little girls who were 5 and 7, and I knew enough about Ma's story to know that she was like a bird on the wing. She wandered around India, never staying in one place longer than 2 weeks, and no one knew where she was going next. She would just get on a train, and a bunch of people would get on a train with her and travel to where her divine will, her Kayal, was sending her. And so I knew enough to know that I couldn't sort of travel around India with 2 little girls looking for Ma at that time. And sadly, she left her body 4 years after that, as did my guru, Muktananda. So I was, fast forward, I was finishing my master's degree at Harvard University in 1984, and I was working on a paper in the library. And those were the days where you needed whiteout. I don't know if you remember whiteout. It was a messy white thing that you corrected things with. I went into a back room of the library to white out, to see if there was any white out there. And I discovered something amazing, because the seed that Muktananda had planted in my mind about Ma was very deep inside. And there I saw on all the tables in the back room was an archive that was being documented of Anandamayi Ma. Everything to do with Ma, her pictures, her tapes of her talks, books, and it was just covered with her things. And I was frozen in awe that it was there. And it was at that moment that I realized that I could apply to the PhD program and I could write my dissertation on Ma, and all my materials would be right there. So I did. And from that moment, Ma's grace just carried me through everything. I mean, miracles of taking the GRE and getting into the program and then getting a grant to go to India. So in 1990-91, I went to India and interviewed 50 of Ma's closest devotees. And it had only been 8 years since she had passed. So people were so happy to tell me their stories. They were so excited. And so I brought home, the notes and the tapes from those stories, and was able to publish later in 1999 the book Mother Bliss. And since then, my life is just full of adventures, all directed by Ma, including traveling to Indore, India, with Acharya Mangalananda to be initiated into Ma's lineage by Swami Kedarnath about 10 years ago. So thank you for listening. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my background. So let's move on to let everyone introduce themselves, starting with our co-host, Patricia. And since there are quite a few of us, let's say our names and where we're zooming in from. And Patricia will call on you in the order she sees you on her screen. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patricia, and I'm zooming in from upstairs from the musicians downstairs. So I'm in Amherst at this moment. And Sanja is next.
Jai Ma. This is Sanjay from Wichita, Kansas State. With me, Prisha. And I'm Shiva. Jai Ma. So happy to be over here. Thank you.
It's so good to see you all. Thank you for being here. Jai Ma.
Yeah.
Patricia, you're muted.
Yeah, I'll say a few names. So I have Lucas and then Randy. So yeah.
Lucas, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
you can.
You can hear me. Hello, then. My name is Lucas. I come from Poland, although I've been living and working in UK for several years. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to join the online community. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Hi, Ma. Very nice to have you.
Thank you very much for having me here.
And Randy?
Jai Ma, everyone. I'm Randy from Western Mass, Great Barrington, Massachusetts, about maybe an hour and 15 minutes from Prajna. And I am so delighted to be here. And thank you for sharing a little piece of your history with us, Prajna. And
I'm Ian. I'm calling in from the same place.
We
We can't hear you.
quite hear you. Can you
Can you
get
hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm Ian, and I'm calling in from the same place. Where are you from? I'm from Chatham, New York.
Welcome to you too.
Yeah.
Jai Ma.
I think it's New York. Okay, and then yeah, David, Deirdre, and Carlos. So yeah.
No, David, Deirdre, and Carlos.
So David and Linda, you're next.
Okay. We are,
I did it.
okay. We are David and Linda, and we are from Williamsburg. We live in Williamsburg, Virginia. We have been to Cancun to visit the International Center.
Welcome and Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
I'm Deirdre. I'm in Wayland, Massachusetts, a friend of Prajna's, and I'm here for the first time. Thank you.
We're so thrilled to see you, Deirdre. Thank you, Jai Ma.
And I'm Carlos, and I'm in Naples, Florida, and this is my first time, Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Welcome, Carlos. Jai Ma.
And then we have Margaret, Yanabai, and Andrew.
Hello, I'm Margaret. I'm originally from Hawaii, but now I reside in zooming in from Dayton, Ohio. And so, Jai Ma to all. Thank you.
Welcome, Margaret. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, I'm Yana, and I'm currently in Hawaii on the Big Island, and so glad to be here. Thank you.
Welcome, Yana. Where's your buddy? She couldn't come today. It's good to see you, Jai Ma.
Then Andrew.
Jai Ma, everybody. My name is Andrew Can. Some people say Andrew Cananda. I'm from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, right here. And if I die before my time, spread my ashes on the Lower East Side. And I've been a devotee of Mars for many, many, many years, many, many, many years. And I've never regretted a single day. Every day is a miracle with Ma. Thank you, Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, Andrew. It's so good to see you. We pray for your health. And just so you know, someone called me the other day and by chance saw the interview that you did with me on YouTube.
Ah, great.
That's still getting seen, which is really great.
Good.
Yeah. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, Andrew. And then we have Murad, Janet, and Julia.
Jai Ma, Murad from Boston. So good to be back. Sending warm love to everyone. Jai Ma.
It's great to see you, Murad. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, everyone. We're from Florida and we're happy to be here. Love you all.
Yep, Janet and David.
Jai Ma.
Hi, Arpitan, Dave. We can't, your video seems a little, there we go. Now I can see you. Jai Ma, good to see you.
Thank you. I'm probably not going to stay on with the video because of this distracting.
That's fine.
I don't know what's happening.
I know.
So I'll just say hi. I live in Delray Beach and I'm a devotee of Anandamayi Ma.
And initiate of Anandamayi Ma.
Yes, that's true. Yes, thank you. So I'm going to get off now without these.
Okay, well, no, you're there.
I don't want to give anybody like, you know,
vertigo,
brain things or anything. So bye.
Okay, Jai Ma.
Arpita, it's great to see you, even with the flickering of brilliant greens, by the way. So I'm in the green land of Florida, and thrilled to be here and very happy to be with you, Prajna. Thank you so much for bringing this satsang together.
It's good to see you, Shama.
Thank you.
Jai Ma.
So then we have Michael, Carla, and Ambarish.
Hi, I'm Michael from Northern California. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Welcome, Michael. Jai Ma.
Hi, I'm Jai Ma, everybody. I'm Carla from Rockport, Mass, north of Boston. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, Carla. Carla has attended many of the retreats with Swami Guru Sharan. And I just think of all those wonderful times we've had, Carla, chanting with him under the starlight, chanting to Ma. It's good to see you, Jai Ma.
Thank you.
Jai Ma, I am from California and I initiated by Ma in 1955.
Ah. Oh, wonderful. Tell us your name, please.
Ambarish Pathak.
Ambarish. Jai Ma, we're honored
Jai
to have
Ma.
you here. Thank you so much.
And then we have Helen, Saraswati, and Rakhil. Someone apologize for the pronunciations.
Hi, I'm Helen from Salt Spring Island, Canada, and I just discovered Anandamayi about 5 years ago, and I'm delighted to have this gathering every month. It's a real treat. So Jai Ma, and thank you.
Jai Ma, Helen, good to see you.
Jai Ma, everyone. Saraswati here in Buffalo, New York. And Om Namah Shivaya. I hope you all had a blessed Shivratri. So, Jai Ma.
Thank you, Saraswati. It's good to see you, Jai Ma.
And Raphael here and in Mount Shasta and Pragya. It's so good to see you. Thank you for hosting this. And love to all. Jai Ma, Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, Raquel, it's good to see you again.
And then we have Gayatri, Greg, and David.
Hello, I'm Gayatri. Jai Ma to all. If Prajna and Vajra are going to sing, I will show up.
You're in the right place. Great to see you, Jai Ma.
Hi, I'm Greg, currently in Arizona. Thank you so much for doing this. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, Greg. Give my love to Arizona, my birthplace, my growing up.
Oh,
Mm.
I'm outside of Safford.
And David, yeah, and then Katya and Jaya. We just need to unmute.
Hi, my name is Dave. Jai Ma, I have this on my desk all the time. And it's wonderful to be here. I've attended a few of these before, and I live in Peekskill, New York.
Welcome, Dave. Jai Ma.
Thank you.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, this is Jaya here. I'm basically from Kolkata and now I live in Massachusetts. Nice to be here in the satsang after a long time. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, Jaya. I've already given people the news that you're going to be singing the mantras, and we're all very happy about that.
Katya.
Jai Ma, this is Katya from Portugal, from Madeira Island. Very happy to be here with you all. Thank you. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, Katya. So good to see you.
Jai Ma. Thank you. Obrigada.
If there's anyone who doesn't have their video on that would like to say hello, you can pop on now.
Okay, well, welcome to everyone. And we do have a special treat today, as someone was mentioning, Gayatri, that we have three wonderful singers with us here at our house. I've sung with these three beautiful women for 4 decades in a singing group called On Wings of Song. And I thought it would be really fun, and it would be so fun for me to have music that I can hear in my space here, and that you can hear harmonies and so forth. So our friend Jessie, who's also here, is going to turn the camera just a little bit so you can see my friends Divya, Krishnabai, and Vajra.
Oh, yes.
Hello,
Om Namah Shivaya.
I'm very excited to have them here. So we're going to start by singing right now. We're going to sing one of our favorite standards, Bhajamana Ma, which means, oh my heart, sing the name of Ma. And this was the favorite chant of Swami Vijayananda, one of Ma's closest swamis. And whenever I was in India, in Ma's courtyard, outside her samadhi, every night we would gather, and he would say, he never would call me Prajna. He insisted on calling me Lisa, my English name, and he would say, Lisa, sing Bhajamana Ma. So we're going to sing Bhajamana Ma. So as you see, the words are Bhajamana Ma, 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 Bhajamana Ma, 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 Anandamayi Ma, Ma, Ananda Rupa Ma. And this will be call and response, and you can sing with these lovely Devis here. Bhajamana Ma, 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 Bhajamana Ma, 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 Bhajamana Ma. ma, Vajramana ma, Vajramana Anandamayi ma, Anandarupa ma, Anandamayi ma, Anandarupa ma, hey, Vajramana ma, Vajramana Vajramana Anandamayi ma, Anandarupa ma, Anandamayi ma, Anandarupa ma, Vajramana ma, Vajramana ma, Anandamayi ma, Anandarupa ma, Anandamayi ma, Anandarupa ma, Vajramana ma, Vajramana ma, Vajramana ma, Vajramana ma, Anandamayi ma, Anandarupa ma, Anandamayi ma, Anandarupa ma, Vajramana ma, Vajramana ma, Vajramana ma, Vajramana ma, that was so much fun. You can imagine that from our perspective, whether it's me or Mangalananda, it's hard when we're singing Kirtan and we can't hear you singing back. So it was wonderful to have my friends here singing, and I bet it was wonderful for you too, to hear the fullness of the sound to sing along with. Yeah, that's great. So we're going to move on now to read some stories from Ma's life. And we call this Ma's Leela, the play of Ma's life, because as a divine being, everything in her life had this air of divinity to it. And it was also extremely spontaneous. So I am going to read from my book, Mother of Bliss, that I was telling you about. So keep in mind that when I was in India listening to these stories, it was only 8 years after Ma had taken Samadhi. So it was only 8 years after these people had been in Ma's divine presence. And I can tell you that it was the privilege of a lifetime to ask them questions and hear their stories. I think I want to start by telling you that my first experience of being in India was to be invited to dinner at the home of Ma's most famous biographer, Bitika Mukherjee. And she was a very impressive woman, also pretty scary to be around because she was extremely brilliant. She was a professor of philosophy, et cetera, et cetera. So she met me at the train. I took a train by myself to her house, and we went to the house, and it was a family dinner situation, and I was sitting there. I'd only been in India 2 weeks at that point for this particular trip. And she very beautifully started with a lovely sung grace that everyone sang together. And then she said, again, calling me Lisa, she said, "Lisa, tell us how you got interested in this work." And so I was, of course, quite nervous. And I said, "Well, I've always been interested in women saints." And Bitakaji, some of you have heard this story before, she turned white as a sheet and she said, "My dear Lisa, Ma was neither a woman nor a saint." And I was definitely put in my place because I had gone to India with this kind of, I'm writing a dissertation, this theory about, were women empowered by Ma? Her devotees, were they empowered by her? And instead I'm hearing, wait a second, she was not a woman. She was not a saint. So that changed everything. And when I went around to interview these 50 people or so who were very close to Ma, I asked a very open-ended question, which was, who is Ma? And the answers that I received were as varied as the people. Somebody would say, Ma is Brahman. Ma is absolute reality. Ma is Kali. Ma is Durga. And some would say, she's just my own mother. So I gathered these amazing stories, and I thought I'd read you a couple of them. The first one is about Ma's early years when she was a young wife of her husband Bolanath, and yet she was not really able to fulfill the duties of a wife. She was in states of ecstasy and samadhi most of the time. And so in this first story, this is actually somebody wrote this story, and later I got a firsthand account of it from two older sisters who actually were there at the time. So this is what the first person says. This pattern of thrilling was such that under its impulse, her body was lifted in the air with an upsurging movement, and nobody had the power to restrain it. There appeared in her a combination of laughter and tears in a strange way, which continued ceaselessly. What a unique phenomenon, the body in divine splendor with a smile on her face. Externally and internally, a strange wave of joy, as in rhythm with the inhalation and exhalation of breath, was surging all through her body. There was at that time freedom from any sense of shyness and hesitation, which are normal under a veil. Even in those who were making an effort to lift Ma and seat her, the touch of her body seemed to transform their inner state in a strange way. Those who performed this kirtan considered themselves fortunate and blessed. So that's what the book said about this, and I had read this ahead of time. But then I was actually in India talking to these two older sisters who had been young girls in a situation like this with Ma early in her life. And so hold on. So this is what they said. So people would make a pedestal in the middle with photographs of Ram and Krishna decorated with flowers and such, and they would sing Kirtan and circle around from sunrise to sunset. And this time, when the Kirtan was almost over, Ma also joined in. And she was also going around like that. They were chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. And Ma, her hands were going like this. And they put their hands up in the air, both of them. Just like that. And after some time, her head was hanging back and it was touching the waist in the back. I'm not exaggerating. It's very hard to do. It really happened. And we were crying loudly because we were young and we thought there was something wrong with Ma. And no one was supposed to touch her like that. Only Swamiji and Guru Priya Devi, they were allowed. And her voice. And then she fell like a leaf on the ground. She was rolling. Her whole body was rolling like a dry leaf. And her face was glowing, just like that. It was 2,000 light bulbs inside her mouth. And she couldn't even talk. You couldn't understand her speech. But Gopinath Kaviraj, afterwards, he said it was Pali, a kind of Sanskrit, and her eyes were half closed, and tears were coming out, unending tears. It was terrible, and it was wonderful. So imagine sitting in front of these two elder women and having them actually remembering, as if it were yesterday, this experience with Ma. So now I'm going to tell a story about those who met her later in their life. This is one of my favorites. This is an older woman who is living in the Kankal ashram, and very sweet. She said, I was very fashionable. I had gone to Europe in 1938 with my husband, Dr. Subhosha Altekar. He had gone only to meet professors there. I used to see many shops. I had gotten some books in Delhi. I was a very literary person. I don't know how Mother did this. In my heart, I loved to dress well. This was Mother's work. When people used to come to visit me, they would say, do no Mahatmas come to this district? I said, I would like to know myself. One Ayurvedic doctor came and said, a Mataji has come. I asked, can you arrange for me to get there? He told me it was across the river, but he could arrange it. My husband said, what has happened to you? You want to change your clothes? But it was all arranged. It was a very difficult trip. Crossing the Ganga was all right, but on the other side, it was not a proper road. The last 7 miles were by bullock cart. It was bumping and lurching. I thought I would fall. I was thinking, such a hard trip. I'm having pain. Is this Mahatma that great? Then I noticed a lady walking in front of the cart. She was holding on to the cart, steadying it with her hand. As soon as we reached the proper place, no lady was there. I had only seen her from the back. Mataji gave me time at 11 a.m. I went to her and she asked me, you want to talk about something? I didn't have anything to say, but in my heart, she told me to say, yes, Mother, I want to say something. When I started to talk, she said, come in the back room. She turned and asked me to follow. When I saw her from behind, I recognized that she was the lady who had steadied my cart. I said, Ma, I saw you from behind catching my chariot. She said, did you see that? I said, yes, you are the same person. I began to cry and I said, I have seen you catch my cart. Did you? She said, yes, how did you recognize me? Tears came to my eyes. There were only tears. I was feeling very pure and fresh. Then Mother said, you are staying here for some time? I said, yes, some days. From that day, I never liked comfortable living. I only wanted to reach there to be with her. Oh, wow. And she died in the ashram. She had moved to the ashram after her husband died. So I guess I want to close by just saying that the real miracle with Ma was how people's lives were transformed. There are lots of miracle stories in this book. People who were saved from drowning in a car underneath the river, people who had illnesses that Ma took on, and so forth. But the most profound thing that people were saying was that by meeting Ma, their life was completely transformed, and they became, instead of being people whose attention was faced outward, they became people whose attention was faced inward. So Swami Vijayananda said it this way: "What does it matter to me if a certain yogi has walked across the water or flown through the air? The real miracle is that which one needs, which one keenly desires, or even feebly comes at the very moment it is needed. And still better when it comes not only as one desired it, but as one would have loved to see it in the innermost depth of one's heart. It has been for me as if I were guided on a path beset with obstacles by the hand of the most loving mother, an all-powerful mother. As you advance, she removes all the thorns, all the stones from your path, and when it is necessary, she lifts you across in her arms. And all circumstances adjust and adapt themselves with a marvelous precision without hurt. Coincidence? I thought at first. But a coincidence that goes on repeating itself daily cannot be called that anymore. And all this happens without apparently violating the laws of nature, for the Lord has no need to break any laws. He is the law. Should I give it examples? No, for those who do not know her will not believe me, and those who have lived near her have already understood." Jai Ma. So we're going to sing another Kirtan now. And this song was written by a lovely woman, Kirtaniya, named Brenda McMorrow. And she's quite devoted to Ma, as you will see from the beautiful devotional tone of this chant. And you can sing along with us. We're going to sing this in unison all together. It won't be call and response. So as soon as you catch on, you join in. Patricia, someone wants to enter.
And the words are in the chat.
Patricia, someone still is waiting to enter. Jesse, are we in authentic sound? Oh, Anandamayi, Chaitanyamayi, Satyamayi, Parameshwari. Om Anandamayi, Chaitanyamayi, Satyamayi, Parameshwari. Anandamayi, Chaitanyamayi, Satyamayi, Parameshwari. Oh, 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 Anandamayi, Chaitanyamayi, Satyamayi, Parameshwari. 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 Jai Ma. I hope you like that one. Isn't it beautiful? So this is the time where we listen to Ma's words, Ma's teachings, in her own words. So just to back up a little bit, in 1984, 2 years after Ma's Samadhi, I was gifted transcriptions of satsangs that she had given in India from 1960 to 1981. And I held on to them in a big carton for many years until 2014. And then our beloved friend, Swami Guru Sharan Ananda, was visiting us, and he always stayed in the meditation room in the attic in that house. And one day we were walking by there and I said, "Oh, Swamiji, look, here's this box of Ma's satsang. These are translations of the satsang. They're kind of hard to understand and read, but I have them here." And he said, "Pragya, this is a gold mine. You have to publish these satsangs." And that was 2014. And for the last 7 years, it started with listening with my friend Jaya, who will be singing mantras later. Jaya and I went to Harvard Divinity School, and they set us all up with a headset, and we listened to Ma's voice and all of these transcriptions, and we corrected them, we retranslated them where it was necessary. And since then, I've been editing them to have a flow that really helps us understand what Ma was saying. So I'm going to read a section today, questions and answers. This is from 1976 in Gandal. It was a 7-day retreat called the Samyam Saptaha. And Ma is sitting in front of a big crowd of people who are there for the Samyam Saptaha. And by the way, just so you know, we're conspiring to put on a Sanyam Sapta in Florida very soon, maybe next winter. We're looking for a place, and we are thinking that some of you might come there. We're excited about that. So here she is with Swami Nirmalananda reading questions to her, and she's answering them. Swami Nirmalananda, here's a question from a gentleman. If the Atman, the self, is pure, how can it be covered by the veil of ignorance, avaran? If the avaran is beginningless and always with the Atman, then how can one think of ever obtaining his original nature? Shrima, there is no question of any avaran where there is Parabrahma Paramatma, the highest God. He is Nitya, eternal. But there is also the Jivatma, the bound soul. These are two things, Jivatma and Paramatma. This body always gives an example. Water becomes dirty. Filter it and it will become clean. It is the pure Atman only, nothing else. Jivatma, the bound soul, and Paramatma, the highest God, both of these words have a common word, Atma. The free Atma is Paramatma, and the Atma in bondage is Jivatma, the individual soul. And what is the veil of ignorance that you were talking about just now? It is duality. How did this avaran come into existence? It is said that God created this world with his imagination for himself to play in. It is all his play. Nobody can do any work without imagination or thought. Duality is there as long as the person works in the kingdom of the mind, Manoraja. When we're in the kingdom of the mind, we make assumptions and we take things for granted. He appeared in the form of seers and mahatmas. So this rishitva, the quality of a rishi or seer, and munitva, the quality of a sage, is there in everybody. He acts as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. All three are in him alone. He comes in the form of rishis, munis, and mahatmas to free this jiva, this bound soul, from bondage. This is also his play. Creation, maintenance, and dissolution, they have all been created by God. God is manifested in all these forms. Hari, God, demonstrated his lila, his divine play, by showing how he came as a crocodile. He comes in these forms to remove that avaran, that veil of ignorance. To save the mind, he appears in the form of mantra, shabda, sound, and akshara, sacred syllable. He is nirakara, in sakara, the formless in the form. And Ma laughs at that point. Whatever the rishis and munis have done, they have done for our own good and for the upliftment of the mind. Their words will uplift the mind. All these spiritual practices are beginningless and endless. And Swami Nirmalananda says, both questions have been answered by Ma. It is he who created this avaran for his own play, and within this very lila, divine play, he has arranged to remove that avaran, that veil of ignorance. Shri Ma, yes, he has made a complete arrangement. He has arranged these rishis and munis, mantras and mantra shakti, and all these other things. Had there not been any shakti, divine power, in the mantra, why would one have recited it? Mantra is one and the same. When you concentrate on the words, you will see them as different. But when you concentrate on God, you will see them as one. Now it's up to you, Baba, to explain and help them understand. So Swami Nirmalananda says, both of Ma's answers are very beautiful. God created this avaran with his divine shakti for himself to play with. Shri Ma, Baba, it is God himself in the form of mantra and akshara, sacred syllable too, sacred syllable also. Right, Baba? As this murti, idol, represents him, so the akshara is also his murti. Swami Nirmalananda, He came in the form of ignorance and became the veil of ignorance. And then he came as Vidya, knowledge, in the form of mantra, akshara, gurus, saints, and rishis. He incarnated as Ma. He came in the form of yoga sadhana. Jai Ma.
Thank you.
Ah. So now we'll move right into meditation. Normally we go into meditation by singing Ma, Ma, Ma. We'll do that today. And again, if you have your own form of meditation, please practice that. If you would like to experiment or don't have a mantra, many of us use Om Ma on the in-breath, Om Ma on the out-breath as we meditate. So you're welcome to try that. Ma, Ma, Ma. Jai Ma. I'm so sorry about that phone going off. Mine was on airplane mode, and so much for airplane mode. It's perfect. It called right through. Jesse, would you mind finding my phone and turning it actually off? Back there somewhere. So now's time where we share. It's a beautiful thing that we're together in satsang, and part of satsang is to be able to hear from each other our experiences of the readings, of meditation, experiences we're having at home in our sadhana related to Ma, and also some of us have spent time with Ma, and we always love hearing those stories if anyone's inspired to do that. So for sharing, you can do one of two things. At the bottom of your screen, you'll see a place where it says reactions. And when you click that, there's a place to raise your hand, and your virtual hand. And Patricia will call on people that way. And also, if that doesn't seem to be on your phone, feel free to, to raise your real hand, your actual hand. So, who has something they would like to share?
I would like to share about how wonderful it was to hear your reading of Ma speaking at the Samyam Saptam, because that was my first meeting with Ma, and I think it was around that time on the Narmada River. And also you referenced a Samyam Saptam for Florida. And I'd like to say that I believe that much movement is being arranged by Ma, and it is my sincere look to receive her blessings that we all meet here because of many reasons. This is a part of Florida that is very remote and all wrapped in the motherland of Florida. Florida's water mother. And because Swami Bhaskarananda has visited here twice to bless the land, and we sat by the fire. So if it may happen, I will give my all for this. It is thinking in terms of not internal. We would be doing what happens at Samyam Saptam in the Narmada River. We would be staying in comfortable tents. More details as I ponder and speak with another couple who live in Florida, Meena and Bipin Bhatt. They are both medical doctors. Do you know them? Anyone know them? Yes?
Well, we know of them. Janet knows them well, yeah.
Great. All right, that's all I wanted to say. I'm so happy to share.
Thank you, Shama. Thank you. Don't think, that was one of the reasons why I mentioned this, because I knew you were here and I knew you were at Rasayana Cove. So let's see what Ma has in mind.
Yes.
It's really beautiful. And
yes.
I love hearing about your spending time in India and at the Samyam Saptam with Ma. That's really so precious. Thank you.
You helped me so much, because there were times where she would speak and she would laugh, and I wonder what that was about. Thank you so much for bringing her words to my language. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Yeah, one of the things I decided in this new book that is being published in the next couple of months is I decided to put in brackets, Ma is laughing, and everyone's laughing with her, because these were not serious events. I mean, she was laughing half the time and people were laughing with her. So you'll see that in the new book that there's all these brackets where it says Ma is laughing, and sometimes laughing uproariously. So that's part of it.
And what a glorious sound. My goodness, for us all.
Yes, it's true. There was actually a word for Ma's laughter. It was called atahasi, which means the laugh of thunder. And it absolutely like pierced people's hearts. Yeah. Okay, do you want to call on someone next, Patricia?
Lucas is ready.
Lucas.
Thank you, Patricia.
You're welcome.
Prajna, do you mind if I'll quote something from your book?
If you what?
If I could quote something from your book, Mother of Bliss.
I don't mind, Lucas. It's all Ma.
I would like to share a piece from your book. Actually, it's a simple story, but talks to me nicely. It is from the page 119, 120. It is the account. Just give me a second, please. Account by Parvati Banerjee. So it goes this way. A second story of material needs being fulfilled was told by Parvati Banerjee, an elderly householder devotee in Calcutta. And she says, I was once at the Banaras ashram and a devotee of Ma said, you have to serve people their lunch. So I started serving, but then I started feeling very, very hungry. In fact, so hungry that I said to myself, I cannot serve anymore. You know, tears nearly sprang from my eyes. Then I set the bucket down and sat down, and I was talking to myself, berating Ma, saying, you are a mother, aren't you? Can't you see that I'm hungry? And at that instant, just from upstairs, someone called to me saying, please give Parvati her lunch immediately because she's very hungry. That's a very simple story, but like I'm saying, it talks nicely to me.
Oh, thank you so much, Luca. That's
You're very welcome, Prajna.
And we have Janet.
Jema, I just wanted to reach out to Julia, Shama. We've met the bots, and yeah, they were here for when Mangalananda was here doing Kirtan, and so they were actually here for Satsang, and it was very lovely. They're a very devoted couple. And we also know the Pataks. In fact, Dr. Patak and Hina were here last night for Mahashivaratri. So I just want to say that I don't know what the final decision will be or how it will manifest. I'm sure it'll all be in it's all in Ma's hands, right? But we're here and we're available, and yeah. So I'm very happy to hear your enthusiasm, and it does seem auspicious. It really does. It really does. Jema.
Jema, Janet, thank you so much. Yes, there are no mistakes. It's great that this is a conversation is getting started right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear from other people who might have something they want to share about satsang today, something that touched them. Some experience with Ma that they've had that they'd like to share.
Andrew?
Hello, everybody. Yeah. Well, what a wonderful day this has been. Every day is a wonderful day with Ma, especially today, because we've got Dave Frank in the house right here. He's staying very quiet there, but this man's a genius. He won't say that himself, but I'll say that. And I've had a wonderful, interesting month. I've been getting over an illness, and it's forced me to be at home a lot. And I've really learned to value the things that are of the highest value for me. And it all comes back, not only Ma, I mean, it's the whole thing. I mean, really, it's about God, really. Let's face it. I mean, Ma wants us to find God, and by finding God, we find ourselves. That's the reason why we're here on this planet Earth. That's the reason why we're here today. We're all searching for answers for our suffering. When we're a human being, we're set up for suffering. We're in this body, which has 1,000 million nerve endings, which at any moment in time can cause discomfort. We have a mind which is constantly churning away negative and positive impulses. And it's a hard thing. And Ma puts it in the battlefield or the battleground of life. It is a battleground. But recently, one of the best things that I found, my life was really going along really very well. And all of a sudden it came to a big abrupt halt. I fractured my wrist. I got this illness, which I've had these horrible toxic treatments for. And the most useful thing that I learned from Ma, and always has been in the past, when I've been in deep trouble. I mean, I've been to ashrams and not like certain I've been to some wonderful Ma's ashrams in India, let me say, and had a beautiful time, especially Omkareshwar. But there's a certain ashram here in America, which I did not like at all. And I remember thinking, what am I going to do? And I remember looking at this photograph of Ma, and the answer I got was, be still and do nothing. And really, that is really the best advice I've ever gotten from Ma. When there's any problem, sometimes you don't really have to sort out that problem. If you just be still and do nothing, the problem sorts itself out. Let go and let God. It's let go and let God. Be still and do nothing. So I've been being very still the last month or so. And the good thing about me doing nothing, when I get up thinking, today I'm going to do nothing, I get more done when I'm doing nothing, when I'm actually doing something, because it ends up that I thought, okay, I'm going to do nothing today, but I end up like completely cleaning out my whole apartment of all the clutter. And in the process, also clearing out the clutter in my mind. And so this is a very small part of the whole process for me of Ma. You see, Ma for me is me and Ma's photograph. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. I don't need 1,000 dissertations. I have 30 books. I have Prajna's book, and I'm really looking forward to Prajna's new book. I'm going to be the first in line to buy that on Amazon.com. I don't care where is it. I got to get that book, because as far as I'm concerned, Prajna is the Atmananda of the 21st century. She is continuing that work. Very, very important for Ma's teachings to be understood by the Western mind, because it's hard trying to understand someone who's speaking Bengali and who's also living in a different world than what we are. Anyway, so rather than get into all that, so I'd like to say thank you very much for listening to all that, and I hope it's inspired some of you. And I'll leave off there. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma, Andrew.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Who else would like to share?
I keep raising my hand and it keeps disappearing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We hear you now.
I don't know, maybe I should just shut up.
I doubt it.
I'll take off the video because now the video seems to be having its way. I wanted to thank Andrew for his reflection on being still. I really appreciate that, Andrew. Can you all hear me or not?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you fine.
Okay. So I just wanted to say, I don't know who's on the committee, if there is one, to decide about where the Samyam Saptam will be. But I do want to express that I hope that whatever location is chosen will be affordable for everyone who wants to attend. I think that, you know, there's probably a lot of people that will want to attend, even if they're not part of this particular Sangha that meets every month. And also I'm hoping, as an older person and as a person that is married to someone with chronic, significant medical situations, that it will be a place where a certain level of comfort, if it's going to be residential, which I'm assuming it will, unless it's in a location where people can either stay in their own homes and attend or make arrangements in a hotel of some kind, that the accommodations will be, you know, comfortable, not fancy or anything like that, but there needs to be some acknowledgement and acceptance and allowance for those who need to have a certain level of comfort to be okay. And so that's just something I wanted to express. Yeah. And I'm really grateful for this group that meets. I was with Ma in 1973 and in 1976, and she gave me my name and some transmission. And I can't say that it's the same for me now. I mean, to be perfectly honest, maybe I'm just not deep enough in my spiritual practice or something, but it's just, as much as I try, it's not the same as being with Mom in person, in the material form. And I strive and I try to connect, and I think that I am obviously connected, but to be perfectly honest, it's not at the same level. And I bring back to mind what it was like, but it's like it's more like a memory to me in my heart and my mind. So yeah, I'm just being perfectly honest about it all in terms of, but actually it is helpful to have this group. I feel as though we're in a very big transition right now. I feel it in myself, I see it in others, and the whole planet is going through a big transition right now, and has been for the past few years, and maybe for the next who knows how many years. And it's rough. It's rough. For many people, it's rough. And so this group is helpful to have that thread continue and to renew that thread for many, but also to initiate the thread for many. And any bit of spiritual practice that we can do is the thread that connects us to ourselves, and ourselves as Ma or as the ultimate reality. So yeah, that's all. That's really all that I want to say. Thank you.
Jema, Arpita, thank you very much. You know, I wanted to speak to you mentioning that it's not the same as when you would Ma in the body. I think that all of us have these moments where we look back on our early spiritual experiences with masters, be they Ma or other masters, and think, wow, you know, I haven't had that experience in the same way since then. But I also feel, you know, I've just been reading Ma's words for 7 years, and she says over and over again, this is not like, it's not an even path. It's not that oftentimes in the beginning, we're given something that is so precious and so powerful that it's almost like the carrot in front of the horse. It keeps us going. We can keep referring back to it. And I know that's the case for me, and that she is there making sure that I can see in my own life that new input, a new book that comes my way, a new friend to have a conversation, that she's orchestrating it so that I keep going and I keep my practice going. She's always teasing people. You thought this is like a transaction at the bank where you give this much, you're going to get this much back. And she laughs and laughs and laughs. It's not like that. You have to keep going, because after all, I know you know this, Arpita, but we have these samskars, we have these impressions from past lifetimes, we have karma, we're trying to work through all these things to purify, to take away these veils, these avarans, these veils of ignorance, so that we can see clearly. And I'm really glad you mentioned that, because I think all of us have been on a bit of this kind of, if we're as old as I am, I've been on the ups and downs of the spiritual path, but the practice is always there, and we have to have faith in the practice. So thank you.
I certainly would not give up my practice. It's not something I even can do if I wanted to.
Right.
So it's like the practice does me, but now it's more like walking the walk. And yeah, so, but thank you for the reminder, because anytime, you know, you can hear truth spoken, it's a reinforcement. So thank you.
Thank you, Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
So let's have a couple of more people share about your practice, about the readings today, the singing, anything that touched your heart. Divya.
Oh,
no, it's okay. Yeah,
I'm good. Whatever. Okay, here I am. Well, I'll be brief. I love praising God, and I know that singing is praying twice. I'm gonna tell you how good Ma is. I'm gonna tell you how good Ma is. She woke me up this morning and started me on my way, yeah. I'm gonna tell you how good Ma is. I'm gonna tell you how good Ma is. I'm gonna tell you how good Ma is. She brought me out of darkness into her marvelous light, yeah. I'm gonna tell you how good Ma is.
Thank you, Divya.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, one more sharing. That's a tough one to follow, but so true. Who else has something to
I'll
say?
share. This is Carlos.
Hey, Carlos.
It's my first time with any satsang, so it's my first time.
Wow.
So I just want to say I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity you know, because I feel I can connect with Ma through, you know, the practices that you guys do. And so thank you so very much. I'm very happy I found this group, and I'll continue to go. Jai Ma.
Carlos, Jai Ma, that's such beautiful news. I'm so glad. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else who's sitting on anything? I think we've had some really beautiful sharings today. I'm very, very grateful to everyone for sharing your hearts. So before we close, we're going to sing one more chant, which is actually a scripture that's special to this time of year in India. Last night was, as we said, the night of Shiva, Maha Shivaratri. And Shiva is, if you can see, Shiva is often portrayed as doing the dance of life. And he's standing on the demon of ignorance. And most of our understanding of what Ma teaches us is that Shiva is a name for consciousness. It's a name for the absolute, for ultimate awareness. And on the night of Shiva, people stay up all night and they make offerings at the different intervals of the night. It's just an incredible experience to be able to be part of such a time. And one of my favorite chants that is often sung, excuse me, on Shivaratri is called the Nirvana Shatakam. And the reason I love this so much, it's really a scripture, is because Ma's teaching, her main teaching, the thing she says more than anything is Ekam Brahma Dvitiyo Nasti. God is one, there is no second. There's only one. So that means if we can, you know, embrace it, it means there is only one of us. There is only one of us. And in this chant, the name for that one that we all are is Shiva. And this chant is kind of an extraordinary story. This scripture was spoken in the 10th century by a very famous Vedantic philosopher called Sri Shankaracharya. And guess what? He was 8 years old when he said it. He was asked by his future guru, Govinda Bhagavatapada, "Who are you? Who are you?" And he replied with these 6 stanzas. They're traditionally called the Nirvana Shatakam, or the 6 verses on nirvana, or liberation. So this poem, you could say, it illustrates a Vedantic method of finding who we really are, which is called neti neti. I am not this, I am not that. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm not these feelings. And so in this, you'll see in this translation, which we'll be showing you in a minute, that he goes through everything that he is not. And at the end of every verse, he says, I am the embodiment of consciousness and bliss. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. I'm going to sing the verses, which are in Sanskrit, and you're going to sing the refrain, which we'll go over right now. It is Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Let's try that together. Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. So Chidananda means bliss and consciousness. I am the embodiment of bliss and consciousness. I am Shiva. I am Shiva. So this is in honor of Shivaratri, in honor of Ma's core teaching, and I hope that you enjoy singing it along with us. Please forgive my Sanskrit. Thanks, Jesse. We're going to begin with an Om. Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Manobuddhiham Kara Chittaninaham Nachasotra Jive Nachakrana Netre Nachavyoma Bhumir Natejo Navayu Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Na chakran na samyo na vai panchavayu na vaksak tadatur na va panchakoshaha na vakmani padam na chopashtapayau Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Namedve Charaga Name Kulobamaho Madone Vameneva Matsarya Bhavaha Dharma na charto na kama na moksha Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Na punyam na papam na sakyam na dukham na mantro na tirtham na veda na yajnaha aham bhojanam naiva bhojam na bhuktaha Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Name Mrityurashanka Name Jata Vedaha Pitane Vamedeva Mata Na Janma Na Bandur Na Mitra Gurur Neva Shishyaha Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Aham Nirvikalpo Nirakara Rupo Vibhutvacha Sarvatra Sarvendriyanam Nachasangato Neva Muktir Nameyaha Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupa Shivoham Shivoham Jai Ma. Isn't that just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song? I hope you could see the translation. Could you see it on your screen? The English? Oh, good. It's really so profound. So we are going to have some announcements now. First of all, before we have announcements, I just want to do some thank yous. First of all, Jesse, do you mind turning towards our three singers here? Oh. Thank you so much to Divya and Krishnabai and Vajra. You got it. And now, thank you so much to Jesse, who has been incredibly helpful right here in front of us. Thank you, Jesse. And to Patricia for hosting us, and to Ted for helping us set up, and to all of you for coming. So just a couple of announcements, really. So looking forward to welcoming Acharya Mangalananda and Gloria back from India. And they will be hosting our next Satsang, which will be Sunday, March 19th, back to the third Sunday of the month at 1 p.m. California time, 4 p.m. Eastern time, and all the other times that all of you guys are in. I know we've got Portugal, we have Germany. So I think they will have some amazing stories to share. They've been to Sharanam, they've put our beloved Shraddha's ashes in the Ganga. They've been in Rishikesh, they've been to Kankal, they've been all over. So I can't wait to hear their stories. So now we have the pleasure of listening to closing mantras from our beloved Jaya. Jaya, can we see you first?
Can't you see me?
Yes, now we can see you. And if you have on speaker view, you'll be able to see her. I think, Patricia, let's just, we don't need to look at the mantras. Let's just look at Jaya, if you don't mind. You could even pin her.
Tatpadang darishitang yena tasmai gurave namah. Swami Swameva sarvam mama deva Susato sasagamaya Namasumaya yuktivedamaya Rityumaya nitamaya Avidami Om
Jai Ma, you know, Jaya, I think because you were playing the harmonium, they were competing with each other. Could you just sing the very last, you know, the Jaya Jaya Ma Ma Ma? Could you sing that without the harmonium now?
Okay. The Jayadhwani.
Huh? Yeah, for some reason you're breaking up. Do you have original sound on your Zoom?
Yeah.
I think everybody has to be muted.
Okay, we could try that. Let's all be muted. Patricia, can you mute us all? And if you can find original sound, because I just want to hear that last verse at least.
Boli Shri Shri Anandamayi Jai Purna Brahmana Shri Shri Anandamayi Jai Sarvadev Purna Brahmana Shri Shri Anandamayi Maa Ki Jai.
Shri Shri Anandamayi Mata Ki Jai. So Jaya, next time I think you have to be out at our house and sing in person. And we'll have you sing an entire bhajan because it's just heavenly to hear her sing. Totally heavenly. Okay, so thank you all so much for being with us today. It was just beautiful. May Ma's grace, pervade your life, and may you feel her presence until we meet again. And let's all unmute and just say bye-bye. And
Before says goodbye, Prajna,
huh?
I just want to say thank you to you.
Oh,
For your love devotion.
You're welcome. It was such a joy to do this again. It really was. Thank you, Patricia, for that. Yeah. So thank you. Let's all unmute for a second and just say goodbye and Jai Ma. As we
Thank you, Pragya.
Yes.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Prajna. Patricia. Thank you, everybody.
Jai Ma, Jai Ma.
We got a feedback loop. Okay, that was fun.
Well, Andrew.
See you next month.
See you next month.
Hopefully we'll all be here.
Good night, Steve.
Thank you.
Bye, Dr. Murad. Sanjay and family.
Thank you, Prajna.
Oh, thank you. Great to see you. Jai Ma, Jai Ma.
Great to see you. Thank you. Jai Ma.
Look at Greg. There's Dr. Murad. Oh, there's Helen. Hi, Helen. Jai Ma.
Bye.
Wonderful to see you. Wonderful to see you. Okay.
All right.